We're going to start doing some actual data management and data analysis using the General Social Survey for lab activities and for an upcoming small assignment. And what we're going to be using is the General Social Survey 2012 merged data file. This is a relatively easy to use version of the General Social Survey, and it's not too big is the important part. So how I got to that was I came into ICPSR like we practiced in class, and in my search I just did General Social Survey United States, and it comes up very close to the top, but this is what you're looking for. You can also just do a search by ICPSR 35478, and that will get you this exact item. So our goal here is going to be to download this, open it up in SPSS, and today in class and lab we are going to be creating some new variables using recode options to take existing variables and change the response options to collapse or expand categories. All right, so first steps, just to repeat what we've already done in class. So this should be a summary to you. I clicked on download, I read the summary, check the citation. I know that all this stuff will download when I do the download, so I don't have to copy and paste now. I just wanted to take a look at it. All right, and then here we go. It's 301 megabytes in size. I could check and see all the variables, but there's really no point in that. I am just going to go straight to download, and I am going to go to the SPSS option. I'm going to agree to use this data ethically. And then when it comes to download, I'm just going to say open with, because that goes, and this will work in the labs too, that goes ahead and just opens up, or should have, there we go. And my particular computer didn't know it needed to open up the File Explorer. In the labs, it opens this up automatically. And it is inside what's called the compressed folder tools. And all I have to do now is just drag that to my desktop. And then once I've dragged it to my desktop, it's available to me to open up and fetch out the data. Okay, so it's hiding right back here. I just barely see the name of it under there, but I couldn't drag it down any further. So I'm going to need to, hide my window a little bit and get this open. And then once I've got that open, I see everything that I have going on in here. I will, if I were to be writing a paper or doing something important, I would need all of this stuff. So of course I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to open up that, and I'm definitely going to need my code book at some point or another. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that out so that I have quick and easy access to it. I'm going to pull my data out so I have quick and easy access. You don't have to do that. That's my approach. You just need to know where this folder, this ICPSR 35478 folder, the unzipped one, the one that looks open, is living, so that you can go open those things up as needed. All right, so here's the data file that I pulled out of there. I can double click this, but if it were a POR file, I would need to open up SPSS first. Either way will work because this is a .sav file. So there we go. And my SPSS is going to open up, which will give me the opportunity to take a look at all of this. And I'm going to expand this out a little bit. Okay, there we go. So here's my data file. I know that I have the right one here. Here's all my variables. I have a total of about 1,069 variables. And when I'm in the data view, I see that I have a total of about 4,800 cases. So this is a reasonably sized data set. Once I have it like this, I'm ready to save it. File. Save as. In my case, I'm just saving it to my desktop. You're probably going to want to save it to either a USB drive, a portable hard drive, or your network drive, whatever works for you. If I needed to come to my network drive, actually, it's that one right there. The L drive would allow me to save it to the network, but I'm just, in this particular case, saving it to my desktop. I'm giving it a name that makes me sure what it is. This is GSS 2012, and then this is just my approach so that I know what's happening. I name it raw. This is the data exactly as it was downloaded, and I've done nothing to it. I double check and make sure it's saving as a .sav, and I click save. And now that's ready. And then as I proceed to make changes to this data set, I will save it regularly, and if I've made significant changes, I'm going to give it a new name. Rather than calling it raw, it would be, process 1 or process 2 or something like that, or step 1 or step 2 or step 3, just so that I know where I'm at in the process of changing this data file into what I need it to be for my analyses. And then when I'm completely finished, I will save it as final. And that just lets me know which data set I should be working with, because it can be really frustrating to come back into some analysis later and stuff looks different, your results are different or things like that, and maybe it's because you're in the wrong data set. Maybe you haven't excluded cases you meant to exclude or recoded variables you meant to recode or things like that. So data management is pretty important. So we're going to do this today in lab. You're going to reach this point in which you've got your GSS 2012, and then however you want to continue to name it after that. And then we're going to learn about the data and transform tools that exist here. We're not going to do a lot of stuff, but we're going to do a few things here so that you can understand how to use them. Here under data, generally speaking, you're probably not going to deal with most of this stuff. If I felt like it was important to sort cases or sort variables, we would do that here. If I wanted to, for instance, if I had chosen a data set, a GSS data set that had maybe 2012 and 2016, but I wanted to split it into 2 separate files, one for 2012, one for 2016, I could do that. But if I just wanted to select out the cases, I want to do some analyses only looking at these particular cases for this year. Or maybe I only want to do a whole series of analysis only on persons under the age of 26, or only on women's cases, things like that. I could select out cases and then continue to do analyses and then unselect cases after that. I'm just letting you know that these are options for you. Split file allows you to do something like split your file into all the cases that are male and all the cases that are female, or any other option that was available to respondents in the variable for sex, and then run the analyses, and it'll give me, here's your descriptive statistics for men, here's your descriptive statistics for women, here's your descriptive statistics for no answer, here's your descriptive statistics for other, or whatever the case might be. So you don't have to repeat these. You don't have to select one, do the analysis, select another, do the analysis. It'll just repeat them all for you. So that's a nice tool to remember, is the split file and also select cases. Today we're mostly in transform, and we're going to learn how to recode variables. For right now, we're going to do this fairly simply. There's no point in recoding variables until we understand how people have responded to certain variables in the data set. And to understand what our options are here, we need to go take a look at the code book. And if you'll recall, here we go, I had dragged it to my desktop. So I'm going to open up that code book, and this allows me to, and your whatever opens up a PDF on your computer, whether it's on your own computer or here in the lab, it's probably going to differ just a little bit, but I can go look at the demographic questions, the culture and art module, the GSS core questions, the religion module, the intergroup relations, the gender module, daily spiritual experiences, and so on. So there's a lot of these modules are just sets of questions, and each iteration of the general social survey asks different questions. So I'm going to need to spend a little bit of time here with my code book in order to know what it is that I'm interested in recoding. We're all going to do the same thing in lab, but when it comes time to do something like your research project, you're going to spend a lot of time with the code book for your data set. So I'm going to pop up here to demographics so that I can get a sense of these, and then the table of contents is useful here because this is you can't quite see this, there we go, 1,323 pages long, so just kind of flipping through it is going to be a pain. You're not going to want to do that. Okay, there, I've sent that over. I know this is hard to see in this video. You can't see this terribly clear, but that's okay. I am going to recode marital status. All right, so here we go. Here's marital status. The name of the variable is marital, the label is marital status, and it asks these different questions, it gives people choose, were they married, widowed, divorced, separated, never married. And I'm going to recode this into a variable that tells me currently married or not currently married. Those are the two options. There are only a few missing answers here. There's 2 total. And so that's why this is a good variable for us to use as an example, because we don't have to deal with a lot of missing data here. So what I'm ultimately going to have is a variable which will give me 2,255 yeses on currently married, and the remainder will all be together. So I would write that down so I remember I'm looking for marital. That's the variable I want to recode. All right, shrink that. Transform, recode. Now would I recode into the same variable or a different variable? Different variable. If you recode into the same variable, you have lost all of the original data. We don't want to do that, so we're going to rename it. It's going to be something new. So I am looking for, I'm going to display variable names, and I'm right-clicking here, and I'm going to sort them alphabetically. And this just makes it much easier for me to find marital. Here we go. It's going to be somewhere in here. Marital, right there. So that's my input variable. And what am I going to name the output variable? It's going to be, I'm going to name it CURRMAR, currently married. So that's going to be my label. Currently married. I'm going to give that a change. All right, so I'm telling SPSS, take the variable marital, and we're going to rename it curmat. The label for that is currently married, and we need to change some values here. Now I need to pop back to my code book and check that out, but what I should have done, we're going to back up and do that, is we're going to skip this recoding for right now, and we're going to go run a quick frequencies on marital. So I'm going to cancel, analyze, descriptive statistics, frequencies. And then I need to do this again, variable names and alphabetically so I can find what I'm looking for. You're just going to get in the habit of that. It's going to happen a lot. Marital, okay. So this just tells me how often these things will happen. You're going to be doing these frequencies a lot. I'm showing you in this video. I'll show you in next week's video. So the response options here are married, widowed, divorced, separated, never married, total. This is the same thing we saw in the code book. Problem is that I know that these are the labels. These are not the actual values inside of there. So I'm going to do this again. Analyze, descriptive statistics, frequencies, and I'm going to check this, format, and what I'm looking for is something that allows it to show just the response options. What code is in there, and I'm not finding that. So I'm going to do something a little bit different. Cancel that out, and I'm going to come back to my data set. I'm going to go to my variable view. I could sort here, which would probably be useful. I know marital is just right here, so that was pretty easy to find. Here we go. This will help me out. I should have gone back to the code book. The code book would have told me what these were. So I now know, and I'm going to write this down, that I'm going to recode this so that 1 equals 1, so that's married, and 2, 3, 4, 5 equals 0, not currently married, and 9 will continue to be no answer, missing data. So I usually kind of write these things down, note them for myself, cancel. I've learned what I needed to learn, although I should have just gone back to the code book. And then now I'm back to transform, recode into different variable. I'm going to find my marital, which need to display variable names, and sort file alphabetically. Marital. And then we're just going to repeat this again that you recall my doing just a few minutes ago. Married. Change. Old and new values. Now here's the fun part. So what I wrote down was that 1 will equal 1. And then I need to add that to my list here. Next, system missing will equal system missing no matter what. System or user missing is going to equal system missing no matter what. And then a specific value, 9, is going to equal system missing. And this is just going to take care of anything that might be hiding inside there with missing data. It's just a good habit to get into. And then next, I'm going to do, I've got 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all going to be equal to 0, not currently married. Rather than doing each one separately like that, I can do a range. So that's going to be 2 through 5 are going to be equal to 0. Add. I double check this and make sure this is all what I want. Great. I say continue and I'm back here. I'm going to do something here that's going to really throw you for a loop, but that's okay. I'm going to click on paste. The reason that I did that is so that you can see, look, this is code that does what we're talking about, SPSS syntax code. Everything in SPSS actually operates with this code. It's just we didn't have to do that. We could just use that dialog box, and if I hadn't hit paste, I would have just said, go ahead and do it. Exactly like it is. I'm just going to highlight that and hit the run button so that it'll do what I just asked it to do. Now here in my output window, I still see the code, which is great. That helps me know what I've just done. And the reason I just showed you that paste was so that you can see all those menus do is set up some code that SPSS then runs. And then in the output, we have it set so that it shows us that, and we can make sure what we wanted to do happened. But more importantly, it helps us guide our way through. There were no errors of any sort, so I know that this was successful. So now I'm going to go back to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, Frequencies. It still has my old frequencies in here, but I could reset to clear that out. And then now I need my new variable. I know it's at the very end. Anything you create is at the very end unless I were to resort this by alphabetical order or something. Move that over. Okay. And sure enough, there's my never married, there's my married, there's my system missings, and my recode worked exactly the way I meant for it to. So that is how you recode variables. We'll have other videos that might show you other ways of transforming and manipulating your data, but as long as you can recode a variable, meaningfully recode a variable, don't just make stuff up, during this lab, that's what we're going to accomplish today.